And the Silver Fox,
The future must not
Mr.
belong to those who...
My bad.
The future must not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam.
Nope, they shouldn't.
But to be credible, those who condemn that...
It's one of those production days where I give the team specific directions and then I don't follow them. It's Kevin McCullough for Brian Fisher. Oh, man. So sorry, guys. Jeff Reed, you deserve better than this. Greatest producer in all of talk radio today. Will that get you a raise? If it does, can I have 10%? I'm just wondering. 888-589-8840. It's Kevin in for Brian. The Silver Fox is a little under the weather today. And so they said, Kev, can you come sit in for him? I said, I'm honored to. The president got up to my neck of the woods, New York City today, spoke to the UN, and gave some very specific, strong words about things that should and should not be seen in the world to come. In fact, we've got another sample of that. Go ahead and fire that, Jeff.
In every country, there are those who find different religious beliefs threatening. Those who love freedom for themselves must ask themselves how much they're willing to tolerate freedom for others. And that is what we saw play out in the last 2 weeks, as a crude and disgusting video sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world. Now, I have made it clear that the United States government had nothing to do with this video, and I believe its message must be rejected by all who respect our common humanity. It is an insult not only to Muslims, but to America as well.
Okay, so there he is talking about the video, more about the video. This video that they can't stop talking about. And there was nothing in the entire speech that said anything about radical Islam or terrorism. In fact, and I don't know if this is true, I'm working to try to confirm it, but I heard Ralph Peters on Fox shortly after the president's speech was done actually say that in our military and intelligence briefs that go back and forth, the written reports that go back and forth between members of the intelligence community and the military and the executive branch, they are not allowed to use the term radical Islamist or radical Muslim or Islamic terror or terrorist when describing those very things. See, I understand if you from a PR standpoint, you don't want to make your anti-war base, if you're running for office, be mad at you because they may think you're a hawk on war or something. So maybe publicly you stop using the term, but internally, the reason the State Department, by the way, got so mad that CNN did what they did with Ambassador Stevens' journal over the weekend was because they called it a crime scene. And they said the FBI is en route to investigate a crime. It's not a crime scene, friend. It was an all-out attack by terrorists who were seeking to send a message to America on 9/11. And there was nothing about this in the president's speech today. It was all about, well, that crummy little film over there, and I don't agree with it, but I have to protect that speech. That's what free speech is. But nothing about stopping the great evil of our time, which is radical Islamic terror. Let's go to line 3. Hector's calling us from Florence, South Carolina. Hector, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFR Talk. Hi.
Hi, man. I've been waiting a while for you now, but that's all right. Listen, congratulations to your new baby, son
Thank
Jonathan, Stephen, and I hope baby James and your wife and the family doing well. And say hello to Stephen and his family for me. I hope they're doing well.
We'll do that as well. Thank you, Hector.
Yes, sir. A few comments and a quick question. I've been paying attention over the years about different things about our government and our country, and I know where to come to get the real scoop. By the way, I wanted to make a real quick comment. Off and on, I used to listen to your program on Saturday night live on 9 o'clock Eastern Time on AFR. Kind of missed hearing you and Stephen talk.
Well, thanks, Hector. That's nice of you. I appreciate that. What was your comment about the president today?
We have a communist, no conscience, arrogant, coward of a person in there. He's so full of himself, his eyes are black-brown. It's disgusting with a capital D. But what I was going to make a comment about real quickly, and then a quick question. Like I said, I've been paying attention over the years, and our government's been selling us out to China a little bit at the time over the years, to India, different Russia, I wouldn't doubt it. We got this character in there now with this administration that follows him loyally. And I believe they're got some deals made with Muslim people, Muslim world, jihadists, Al-Qaeda, and so forth. And I believe they got certain connections with Vladimir Putin and different ones over in Russia. And, I think they got in deeper than they wanted to, possibly making deals behind the scenes and under the covers and whatever else. And, we already got Muslims in our government system right now as it is, telling the FBI and so forth what they can do and what they can't do, and infiltrated deeper than we probably want to know, to tell you the truth. But the question is, do you think that there's anyone that can come in and have the intestinal fortitude to do some real cleanup, come into Washington and just have the guts to get these Muslims out of here, get these people out of here that are not for our country? It ought to waterboard the president and Halter and certain ones on down and get the real truth of what's going on. I know that sounds hard, but I just wanted to know what you thought about it. And
well, Hector, I thank you for your call. Thank you that you're engaged in the discussion of the policies of your day that you live in. Obviously, no one can tell you how to feel, and no one can feel the things that you feel or be in your shoes. Can anybody come in and fix Washington? I don't know. The challenge there has to be, are we going to have someone, are we going to choose someone who believes in the Constitution and the founding truths of what the country was built upon more than they believe the personal advantages and trappings of the office and other things are worth it? And so could anybody come to Washington and do that? I hope so. I don't want to be cynical and to the point where I'm saying America's best days are behind her. But I think part of the problem, Hector, and I appreciate the call, I don't necessarily agree with all of your presuppositions, but I do appreciate the fact that you're willing to speak what you believe, is this: we the people too much over the last, at least length of my lifetime, some 40 plus years, we've sat back and said, well, we'll let the guys in D.C. handle it. And they can't. What Eastwood said at the Republican convention is true. They work for us, and every now and then you've got to let some people go. But we have to be, first of all, engaged, secondly, knowledgeable, thirdly, equipped, and fourth, motivated to manage that workforce the way it should be managed. I'm a small business guy. I run a little media company out of New York. We have, 25 employees. I had to recently terminate one. Why? Because he was a bad person? No. But the job that was hired for was not being accomplished. And so therefore there came to this real obvious conclusion by most people viewing the situation that the job that had been hired for wasn't being done, and that was the reason for the person being there in the first place. We as a nation are kind of like a corporation. We've hired a group of employees to go to D.C. and run the country for us, and if they fail, it's our job. It's our obligation as shareholders to make changes. And I'm not saying, and I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm speaking very broadly and very generally about principles here. But it is without question something that we have to remain engaged in. You can't just say, oh, those guys over there, they'll take care of it. We just, elect the right one and then they'll be off. No. Good people get corrupted when introduced to public power. So you got to continue to hold them accountable. Line 1, Alvin from Little Rock, Arkansas. Hi, Alvin. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFR Talk.
Hi, how you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing well. Thanks for your call.
All right. I just wanted to make a comment about American credibility. And perhaps the reason that Obama is not, President Obama, not saying a whole lot about these terrorists right now is maybe he wants to catch them and he doesn't want to stick up a sign saying, hey, we're after you right now. But the credibility problem that we have in America is that we are too often seeing things that are right, saying things that are right, but there's somebody that comes up and says, no, that's not the way it is. It's this way, and that's the right way to go. And the perfect example of what I'm saying is, I'll use that football game. Everybody in America saw that interception, but the coach of the other team says it was the right call because he won. I mean, what happened to being a man? What happened to standing up for what you really believe in? And I honestly think that if the White House and the House of Representatives and the Senate all got together and worked for the good of America, we would have more jobs here now than we know what to do with. But when you got people stonewalling and sitting on their hands and other people are trying to do all they can to get jobs created in this country.
But Alvin, hold on. You're assuming that all efforts of creating jobs are equal. And sometimes if someone's got a bad idea about how to create jobs, it's actually more righteous for the group of people to prevent that idea from going into effect than to advancing it. And what so sometimes you need to slow down the process to keep bad things from coming to fruition, right? So
I'll give you another perfect example.
Go ahead.
Right now we need good-paying jobs in America. We have referees that cannot go to work because they want to be paid a decent salary with all this money that goes through the National Football League. In America, we have a thing that started out east. You live out in New York. It started out east with these factories closing up, opening back up, and telling people if you want to come back to work, you're going to work for $10 an hour instead of $15 and $20. Is that not true?
But Alvin, what's the purpose of the employee?
The purpose of the employee is to find a job, take care of his family.
No. There's no. See, that's the thing. The employee is there to be a servant of the company. And if you don't do what the company needs on the company's pay scale and to the time and allotment that they give you, then you shouldn't get to keep that job. And if the company's going bankrupt, then nobody keeps their jobs. Anyway, stay with us. More of your calls next on Focal Point.